Hi Amanda, it's Professor Sasso. I hope you're having a good semester. We haven't had a chance to talk yet this semester, so I'm hoping that you have some direction for your poetry portfolio, and I'm hoping tonight I can also give you some direction for your story. When I last checked, I only had the first story, so I'm going to comment on that. And I actually think it's a really cool, interesting story, so I think you could absolutely use it in your portfolio. I had in the story, I had to do a lot of like, where are we right now moments. And I think that's a really cool way to approach a story. I didn't quite, I got some sense that there were 3 scenes happening, but I think we can play a little bit more with the movement of the story so that we can somehow ground ourselves as we move along. So some of my suggestions are about that, but I thought it was one of the most interesting stories in the class, and very imaginative and creepy and weird. And I think some of that still has to, us not quite knowing where we are in the story really probably should stay in the story. So I don't want to edit too much of that out, but just a few suggestions on where you can ground the reader a little bit more. So we start with where am I? The curly-haired blonde asked to no one in particular, right? So then which is great. That's a great way to start. We're like, whoa, like you're already putting us in a situation where we don't know where we are. And I think that's a really cool place to start. And then the curly-haired blonde asked to no one, particularly he watched intently as he always did, always most curious to how they will react. May was still laying on the hot pavement, gathering her thoughts and bearings. So I had to read that line a few times over because I was like, wait, is he watched intently, is he the curly-haired blonde? Or is that somebody else? And I think you can leave things ambiguous, but you want to make sure that we have some sense of our grounding. So I might put an additional line, leave the curly-haired blonde in that first scene a little bit longer, and then pull back to he watched intently, as he always does. And I think this might be a cool place to set up right away that he has seen this happen before, and we don't know why or who he is or anything, but maybe give us some, like, he remembers when he saw, the old lady wake up, or remembers when he saw the little boy wake up in the same way. So we get this like string of memories from this guy who's watching over them. I think could be really cool. Like he's seeing this little blonde, but like what else has he seen, right? And that could help expand the story a little bit too. My other suggestion completely for the story is to put the entire thing in present tense, except for when your main character is flashing back. So put us immediately in this moment where May is waking up and this man is watching her. In present tense is just all about changing the verbs. So make all of your verbs not ed, right, but present. I think it would be really cool so that we're like right in the story with you. So then she has this cool, like she's a Ferris wheel, and she's kind of walking through the crowd. Again, I think it would work better in present tense. I think we can stay a little bit longer. She's walking over to a fence, right? We're trying to figure out, she's at an amusement park and this man is watching her. I would keep those two things completely separate. So like, this is from her, we have to choose what perspective this is from. It's either entirely from the man who's watching her, or it's entirely from hers. I don't think we can cross those the way we are in the story, because that's what makes it confusing. So I think you have to choose your point of view. It's either through her or it's through him. And I don't know, I don't want to lose her voice and her confusion in this, but maybe you use this in the activity we did in the second story where we see all this sort of happen through her eyes, and then we see the same scene happen through his. Maybe it's 2 scenes, so we get May walking through it, and then in all of her memories and thoughts, and then we get the same scene from this mustache man's eyes. I don't know, I just think you have to play with point of view a little bit. So she's you know, she's leaning over the fence. She has memories that are flashing. The flashes are too fast as she leans over, holding her head, which until now she forgot was aching. You already told us she's leaning over, so I'd say not leaned over, but with her eyes closed shut, she tries to concentrate, hoping to control her thoughts as to make sense of the strange day. And then we slip into a memory, and I would just make it a little bit more clear that you know, maybe say, you know, and then May sees something behind her closed eyes, and then go into that next dialogue, just to give us a sense that we're shifting into memory right now. And then she realizes that, you know, it's her mother, it's comforting, it's beautiful, right? We're not quite sure why she has an urge to walk over to the fence, so I think we need a better sense of why she's moving toward the fence, what's motivating her to go there. Because to right now, it just seems very arbitrary that she's moving towards this fence, even though she is going to find out the secret on the other side. Your reader doesn't really know that yet, so give us a better sense from the character's mind why she's being pulled to this fence. And then she's standing on it, trying to look over. And I think the story needs a little bit of expansion, so we have more memories flash through her mind. I think it's really pretty when you give us those memories, because we get a sense of the characters at that point. We get a sense of May, we get a sense of her mother, her brother, and that's going to set up that last moment even better, because we're going to feel a lot of compassion for this character. So I would think about where she says she has more memories. Give us a few more of those. And we have a tree house where last time her mother hugged her, but just really maybe expand those memories so we can really feel them. So then we shift back to the man, and we're trying to figure out who he is and what this fate is that they're about to see. And I don't think we need a lot of, you don't need to tell us exactly what's happening, but I think we need a little bit more grounding as to who he is and how he's seeing these things. And then she only bit her lip. She's now leaned completely over the fence. And then you have sort of your aha moment, right? Where the girl is realizing what's about to happen to her. And I don't know that your reader fully, and you should leave it to some imagination, but I'm not sure that when she's not holding a doll, she's holding the girl. It took me a little while to get that. I might be slow, but can you give us a little more in that line to tell us, oh, she's holding the girl now, and the girl is dying. She's now passing into her other life. And then we always have moments of death where we walk into light, right? Maybe we make this, she's in an amusement park as this is happening. Maybe she takes the man's hand and steps onto the Ferris wheel or something where it's not as familiar as we always go towards the light when we die. Like maybe she does something weird, like she heads towards a cotton candy stand or something like, and you think of this child now forever in an amusement park is weird and cool. Like maybe her eternity is this amusement park. I don't know. But have her do something other than walk into the light, because I think we've used that before. And I'd love to see you do something cooler with this story, because I think it's a great, fascinating, scary, sad story. And I might take the little girl somewhere else at the end. And I think to the same moment, that the idea that she's looking over a fence at this, make the fence more memorable. Like she's walking towards a fence at an amusement park. Like, can you describe that fence in any way more to us that it's a really cool image that she's walking towards this fence in an amusement park, and I'd love to see it better. So I think you have a really interesting story here. Those are some of my suggestions. Put it in present tense, slow down some of those memories, decide on your point of view. And I think this can be really eerie and cool and sad the way I read it the first time, and those feelings can even be more poignant because it's clearer as to what's happening. So good luck. Let me know if you need any other help, and I'll be available all week and weekend if you need any more guidance. Okay? All right, Amanda. Have a good rest of the semester.